Hey, good morning, Algebra 1, periods 1, 6, and 7. It's Mr. Mays coming at you live from room 308 here at CMR. And, oh boy, do I need a haircut. The wife is right. Okay, well anyway, it's Friday. Yay. I'm going to put up a problem today. It's going to be from that quadratic graphing worksheet you've got. And some of you have turned that in. I posted all of the answers for that yesterday. So please have a look at that before you submit your work. But I am going to walk you through this particular problem I have up here. It's a parabola. It opens down. It's got some beautiful x-axis intercepts. And I'm going to go through two different ways we can look at this. The first way we're going to talk about is vertex form. And then we're going to put it into standard form. I would like to demonstrate that either way works perfectly fine to find the components that I'm asking for. The components I'm asking for? Yes, I'm asking for a vertex, an axis of symmetry, and x-axis intercepts if they exist. I'm looking for a y-axis intercept, and of course, I'm looking for a very pretty picture, and you can kind of see it there in the background. All right, so here we go. Let's roll through this. Oh, look at that. Bright, shiny faces. Okay, so here we go. This is from your worksheet. It's number 28, okay? It starts life as a negative quantity y minus 4 is equal to the x minus 1 quantity squared, okay? So that looks an awful lot like vertex form. Anytime you see that x component that's squared, that's your clue. Aim for vertex form. So that's what I'm going to do. So we need that. We need y is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. Remember, the value that makes what's in the parentheses equal to 0 is the x component of the vertex, and the k on the end is the y component of the vertex. Now, we could go with the y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Anyway, you get to pick, all right? I'm going to do them both. So here we go. Here is the first one. Let's do vertex form first because we are almost there, okay? So there we go. So I'm going to distribute the negative sign. Then I'm going to multiply by negative 1, and I'm going to get y is equal to minus 4 is equal to negative the quantity x minus 1 squared. Notice how I did that, okay? And then I'm going to take that negative 4 right there, and I'm going to add it to both sides. So I'm going to wind up with that, okay? Now we have vertex form. And our vertex is, remember, x minus 1 is equal to 0 if x is equal to 1. That's the x component of the vertex. Okay, so the axis of symmetry, the vertex is on the axis of symmetry. So now we know that the axis of symmetry is x is equal to 1. X-axis intercept, set y equal to 0. Remember, every y value on the x-axis is 0. So if you do that, you get 0 is equal to negative quantity x minus 1 plus 4. Whoops, I'm missing a plus sign. Let's fix that real quick. There we go. Okay. So now I've got my plus sign in there, or I can say if I add that quantity x minus 1 squared to both sides, I get this. Okay? Now this is where we get to dive back into chapter 9. Okay? I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Now we all know that the square root of something squared is itself. So the square root of x minus 1 quantity squared is simply x minus 1. And we all know that the square root of 4 is 2, plus or minus. Don't forget the plus or minus. That's how you get the two solutions. One of them is x minus 1 is equal to 2. If you add 1 to both sides, you get x equal to 3. And the other one is x minus 1 is equal to negative 2. If you add 1 to both sides, you get x is equal to negative 1. All right? That's why we did chapter 9, folks. Okay, so we back the bus up, minus the irritating beeping noise. And we can find the x-axis intercepts are 3, 0 and negative 1, 0. Okay? So, now let's find the y-axis intercept. The y-axis intercept, put a 0 in for x because every point on the y-axis has an x value of 0. So there you go. You put the 0 in for x. Negative 1 squared, 1. Now notice the minus sign. Notice the minus sign right there in the front. That says that you have a minus 1 plus 4 or y is equal to 3. So your y-axis intercept is 0, 3. Okay? All right, now let's look at the other way we can do this. Remember, we had this option also. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's do that. So I'm going to go quick through this because it's getting long. All right, so here you go. I want that. I'm going to take that and turn it into that. All right, so how do you do that? Well, here you go. So I distribute the negative sign again. Negative y plus 4 is equal to, now notice the x minus 1, I squared it. If you FOIL that out, you get x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now, here, I subtracted 4 from both sides, okay? So now I get negative y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. Don't like that, so I need to fix the negative sign. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1, okay? And then if I distribute the negative 1 on the right, I get y is equal to negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. Oh, look, there's my y-axis intercept. If you put a 0 in for x, you got nothing left but a 3. So there's my y-axis intercept right there. Ta-da-da-da. All right, now, let's factor this. Notice that I left the minus sign out there, okay? I can factor what's in the parentheses into x minus 3 times x plus 1. If you set both of those factors equal to 0, you get x is equal to 3 and x is equal to negative 1. Note the minus sign had no bearing on how I factored this. The only thing that's going to do, you must remember, how does this parabola open? It opens down. So there you go. Now the axis symmetry. Now here, to find the A, B, and the C, you truly must put it into the y is equal to. Y's got to be positive when you do that. So A is equal to negative 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to 3. Okay? So there's my x-axis intercepts. I have a line of symmetry. I know where my vertex is because if I put x is equal to 1 back into the original equation, it will give me the value of the vertex at 4. Okay? So now let's graph all that. Do-do-do-do. All right, so here you go. There's your graph. Look at that. I labeled it and everything. I even put the axis on there for you. Kind of sloppy, but hey, you guys are going to do much better, right? All right. I hope you enjoyed that. That's number 28. Yay. So if you can do a problem like this, you're setting pretty doggone good. I wouldn't worry too much about getting like number 29 maybe that's got square root answers. Don't sweat that one, okay? But if you can get number 28, you are doing quite well, all right? So you have that factor and solve worksheet that you should be working on today. I will post those answers up later today also. So, and then we can kind of wrap this chapter up and move into chapter 9 next week. Doesn't that sound great? All right, that's all I got for now. Maze out.